Because it's
These
more
are
than that.
campers that are coming.
Campers.
You know, is it something beyond Greenville that everybody's coming?
Eldora racetrack.
I mean, it was like, must have been 50 campers almost out of the road, but you know, lots of cars in between. And sometimes I hurry past a car.
It's a
and that car-
big race weekend in Eldora.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the week before that was falling power at the pass, and there were a lot of vehicles,
Okay.
campers, and
How
heavy
about smoke
equipment.
down here? Did you have?
Yes, it was yesterday's, yeah.
Sunset was nice. It was really orange out last night.
Well, you know, we were 2 hours north of Baruch, and we could hardly see the cars, you know, parked by the house. We were like, "Oh, we're bad." But as an ex-smoker, I just love it. It didn't bother me a bit.
Well, that's not the air quality.
Yes.
That's the statement the health department said that the smog was like smoking 7 cigarettes. And
That's what they told me at the doctor. I had a doctor's appointment Friday morning. The reception smoking.
That was on the news.
Well, you know, they said that 50 particles per, 500 but Duluth was 980 or something like that. You know, and we were 2 hours north of Duluth, and I really made it.
So you flew out last night?
No, I didn't. I ended up coming home early. I just, I had to do some dinner serving. It was part of the whole.
Okay.
And I wanted to go out and all sorts of stuff. The last kid was leaving on Friday, and so I just came home with him. When they stayed at the meeting on Friday, and we drove 2 hours into the booth, and we go to Minneapolis and change it, and then here, you know, we came to this, and to Minneapolis, and he was on the refugees too. But it just seemed like the same way it just wasn't worth it. I think it fell off fire until up there.
Anxious to get back.
It's really in October, yeah, I can do that in October. But I had, I don't know, my kids don't think they're all over the world, you know, all the time. And it has to be a funeral or something before everybody gets together. 5 kids and 5 spouses.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's very, yeah.
Isn't that right?
We had just a some places, absolutely, they just obviously, that's problems, you know, for our kids.
Just really nice for family together.
Oh my God, it was like being resort, you know, it was being.
Is that the second home or is that where it is?
No, that's the second one. There's a place that so we 110.
Sure.
Weeks and weeks and weeks. It was like, well, it was 95, you know.
It was the main one talking. It was.
Yeah. And it's like two states. Church. Use it. We get up there, which brings it up to but it was fair for him, I didn't care. Yeah, we just ate this fish like man, you know, not almost very tired, except me, I didn't even go down there.
Oh, nice. That sounds good.
It was your whole congregation is ready and waiting.
We should, actually, I would go ahead and start, except as soon as we start, the
Yeah, the
Carolina
bells
will
are
go off,
going.
and then we'll have to stop again, so. we'll have to be punctual. That is not my,
If anybody is watching, they know what time it's supposed to start.
yes.
What I like best is the talk before.
We're recording now, so for the first 2 or 3 minutes, you have to be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Although it's hard to pick it up on the audio, you don't hear all that anyway, so. Love that. That last one always weighs just enough to trap you. All right, welcome to First Universalist Church of New Madison. Outside, it's pretty pleasant right now. The rain has cooled things off a little bit and took a lot of the smoke out of the air, but the smoke is coming back. And I guess my last information is we're going to sue Canada for smoke, on putting smoke on us. Which just... that is a perfect picture of what is going on in the world, that Canada, who sends us water bombers and firefighters when we're having raging fires, and all we do is complain that their smoke is coming down on us when they have an affliction. Talk about good neighbors. It's pretty embarrassing is what it amounts to. All right, let's see. We have our annual meeting today right after church. As a reward to everybody who came, I went ahead and bought the nice, good donuts instead of the cheap.
Very thoughtful.
Yes, and I don't like, some people like those, I guess, but the ones that are radiation proof, they would last for 1,000,000 years if there was an atomic blast. Those are still in the refrigerator, so we'll have to be eating those in the future, but good donuts this week. And I have a meeting that I have to go to after, so hopefully our meeting will go quick. If not, someone else will have to lock up for me, or else I'll lock up on the way back through. Do we have any other announcements? Okay, today we're talking about the milk of human kindness. And I guess I got started on kindness, and pretty much that's what I ended up talking about or thinking about or working with all week. So we ended up with the milk of human kindness. And how many of you are familiar with Macbeth from Shakespeare? There is an interesting quote about the milk of human kindness, and when I pull the picture up, it's Macbeth's milk of human kindness. And if you're familiar with that, Lady Macbeth was being a little on the sarcastic side when she was talking about the milk of human kindness. And then I just threw in the other one, is the natural peace, the smell of fresh peace in the morning. Some of the graphics that you find online are pretty interesting and go with what we're talking about. So that's going to be the topic for today. The prelude, Embraceable You. across from Gilbert Harding, which I had somewhat of a sarcastic turn. I am full of the milk of human kindness, damn it. My trouble is it gets clotted so easily. And that is, human kindness is there within us, but it sometimes doesn't actually get to be acted upon. Or when it does, it's interrupted in its actions and stuffed back into the bottle, or maybe poured back in the bottle. Chalice lighting. The chalice is a symbol by Deborah Falk. A chalice lit in our midst is a symbol of our liberal faith. A faith built on the foundation of freedom, reason, and tolerance. A faith sustained by acts of kindness and justice. A faith that visions a world flourishing with equality for all her people. A faith that demands living out of goodness. A faith that requires thoughtfulness. A faith of wholeness. This tiny flame is the symbol of the spark of all this within each of us. Our opening hymn is number 29 in the blue hymnal, Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee. How many of you saw The Money Pit? Well, that's another movie that I highly recommend. The Money Pit is a couple, and this is the reason, and this was before we even had houses, but I know the reason now. I must have been looking into the future. The couple buys an old, disreputable home, a giant old home out in the suburbs of New York, and proceeds to renovate it through all the trials and tribulations. And you can guess why it's called The Money Pit. Because they spend a fortune, their lives are turned upside down, they almost come to blows with each other. The construction crew is made up of the funniest people I have ever seen. But it is a fun movie, and Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee is played at the end when the house is in its pristine final condition and the couple are reunited and happy in their new home. So if you're bored on some night, pull up The Money Pit. Shelley's not Winters and not Duvall. There's another Shelley, a little skinny girl, is in it, and she is just hilarious. So that's a side point. Affirmation, hope comes to claim us by Hannah Roberts Villeneuve. In the season of long cold nights, hope isn't waiting for us to find it. Hope isn't sitting patiently on the sidelines. Hope seeks out the forgotten places, the longest night, the damaged temple, the overcrowded stable, and every corner where tomorrow seems impossible. Hope bursts in uninvited, without concern for our carefully crafted plans. Hope shows up as a lamp that keeps burning. Hope shows up as an improbable baby. Hope shows up as the sun returning without having ever left. Hope shows up as tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then tomorrow, until, against all odds, we feel the future breaking on the horizon. When we are weary from battle, when empire seems inevitable, when darkness is growing around us, hope comes to claim us, and we have the chance to say yes. Joys and concerns. We got a letter, I think Mike did, and somebody else may have, from Lou. I don't think we talked about this last week. They are in the process of moving. They're moving up with their kids. He's had surgery, multiple surgeries. She's having another surgery. So they're having health concerns. So our thoughts and prayers and concerns go with Lou and the family, the kids, their grandkids. They are making the transition, but pretty much what he's telling us is we're not going to see Lou anymore. So keep Lou in your thoughts and support for his family and their future as they proceed off in a different direction. Haven't heard from anybody else.
I saw Roberta on Friday.
Oh, great.
She celebrated her 90th birthday with a few friends, and her daughter brought her up to Greenville, and she gave everyone here her regards, and she looked great and seemed very happy.
Great. That is good to hear. Roberta, we miss Roberta's piano playing, and we miss Roberta's, actually her reports on her son were always fun to hear. And we're open for anybody else. I did hear from Phil, I think I told you that. He wants to do a presentation on some country in Eastern Europe that he's been to. And he has another person who he knows, which I forget now, and I'll bring that up. I told him to tell her that she was more than welcome to come make a presentation. And I'll look it up and find out so I can announce it. If I have a chance, I'll announce it at the council meeting, if that is. If not, it'll be next week. So we do have some possibilities for other people to come and make a presentation. Everybody is welcome. All you have to do is bring some pictures and I'll put them in a PowerPoint, or you can just stand up and talk about whatever you want to talk about for 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't make any difference. We are always interested in other people's experiences. Weather seems like the apocalypse, doesn't it? I mean, some places are flooded. The water is like literally washing cars away. Texas, in the hill country in Texas, where those 27 or 28 kids died last year, exactly the same place, exactly the same flood. Thankfully, Texas grew a brain cell, and that girls' camp wanted to open again this year. And they were not allowed to, and they finally filed for bankruptcy. That same camp flooded again. So, and there were, I think 2 people were killed, but not nearly as many because Texas had the warning signs up. People listened to their radios, and when it said evacuate, they did evacuate. But the people were still camping along the river, so their campers and cars and motorhomes, all of them were washed away and washed down the Guadalupe River. This was a 1,000-year flood, the second year in a row for a 1,000-year flood. Wake up, people. We are doing something to the atmosphere. This is not normal. And on the other side, there are fires in California, fires in Florida. There are fires everywhere. If it's not raining, there are fires. So the temperature is high everywhere. But it's the places that need water are getting heat, and the places that need heat are getting water. So it's pretty pretty confabulating about what's actually going on. And actually, this is happening in Europe too. A lot of the river cruises, people have signed up for river cruises in Europe down the Danube. They're having to cancel those because the water levels are so low they can't navigate the rivers. So, and Spain and France, they don't use air conditioning. Germany, they don't use air conditioning. Actually, I understand it's intentionally because they're trying to save the environment by not running air conditioners, so people tolerate just opening a window and putting a fan in. 100 degrees is too hot for that. It's too hot for a fan. So there's changes that are going to be coming in Europe as well. Israel, nothing changes. They are still bombing, still cleaning, ethnic cleaning in Lebanon. I had thought about bringing, and I probably will bring some next week. The Israelis have bombed a school and killed more juvenile kids. Of course, they say there are terrorists hiding in the school, and the children they kill are only collateral damage. That excuse is kind of running out as time goes along. They are basically clearing and opening new settlements all through Gaza and now even into eastern Lebanon. So the situation there is not improving, not changing a bit. Ukraine, we still have our sunflowers. It's interesting, nothing has changed as far as peace on the horizon, but it is interesting that, and we talked about this last week, the Ukrainians are equalizing or basically causing Russia pain. Now Russia is rationing gas. Their refineries, even in Siberia, 1,500 kilometers away, are being bombed. Crimea, which Russia invaded and took control of in 2014, is now almost isolated. The bridges are bombed, the ships are being sunk. There is no gas for civilians. The gas is held for the military. The Russians used to go to Crimea for their vacation spots, Sebastopol, on the sea down there, Black Sea. Nobody is going there for vacations anymore because it's too dangerous. So the Russians are beginning to realize what is actually going on. In the United States, things just keep getting destroyed. Now there's a shield over the front of the White House and something is being done to the columns. Nobody has really explained that yet. So we'll have to see. The tarp is still up on the Kennedy Center, so nobody can see that the name has come down. Maybe it hasn't. We'll have to see there. It's just craziness abounds. The last thing I heard yesterday or 2 days ago, True Social is the place where Trump announces makes his pronouncement about what's going on. True Social is released on a time frame. And if you're familiar with the stock market, computers trade the stock market. And even having 5 or 6 seconds advanced knowledge of something, a computer can sell a stock that's going down or buy a stock that's going up. Trump is now selling advance notice of what he's going to say on Truth Social for $100,000 a pop. This is right in our faces. This person has made $2 billion as the president off of the use of presidential knowledge in the presidential position. And you probably also saw the guy that runs the teleprompter. Did you see that in the news? The man who runs the teleprompter for the president when he gives a speech was going on Kashi or Kalashi or whatever it's called and betting that these words would be used in the speech. He has made $100,000 because he has the speech ahead of time on the teleprompter, and then he bets that that word will be used or won't be used. He has made $100,000 just by betting on these words. The funny thing is, sometimes the president goes off script and he doesn't use the words that he's supposed to, or he adds a word in that he's not supposed to, which is the reason this guy has made $100,000 and not $500,000. And he has just been suspended. It's not illegal what he's doing. He's just been suspended from his job only because people found out about it. So, pretty incredible the times we are living in. Anything else? All right, final candle for those who are in our thoughts. For those who have hopes and dreams that they are not able to express, those who have fears that they are not able to defeat or overcome. We are in solidarity with them. Okay, our children's story. We also, I didn't even mention, we lit another candle there were 2 more people killed in ice things. So I played you the Mandy Clark thing the last time that was here. We're going to do that again if it plays.
People now, but now they are here, and I am sad we are good people, always there for each other, always treating our neighbors like a sister and a brother, and I'm hard pledged each day, standing tall, now I see hate, trying to be that I'm watching it all, I shed tears for my people, falling on the street, but I'm praying even for the murderers, when I think of their shout it out loud.
We could be great if we just let the hate end. Sometime I'll figure out how to get the lyrics from this song. If you listen to what Mandy says, and it's kind of hard to hear, I know, from out there, she has lots of good poems. What makes America great is ending the hate. We can be great if we end the hate. There's many more lyrics all the way through. The one I particularly liked was, the people who committed these crimes, when they meet their maker, will they be forgiven? That's a paraphrase of what she says. But she's thinking Christian lines, Christian person, Christian forgiveness about the people, even the people who are committing these crimes. So we add to Pretty and Good, the 2 people who were killed in Minnesota. We add Guerrero and Araujo. One was killed in Maine and one was killed in Texas. 4 people executed by ICE. If you saw the news, the person that executed the person in Texas, his wife said she could not understand how he became a police officer. He came back from Iraq with PSDD. He came back, he threatened to kill her multiple times. He abused her, physically abused her. He has abused other people, and yet he was hired by ICE and given a gun and shot this driver, Araujo, who thought he was being kidnapped or thought he was being hijacked. The ICE people were in unmarked cars wearing camouflage. They cut him off and brought him to a stop. They said, without cameras, that he was charging them or was trying to use his car as a weapon. Once again, the people who saw what was happening said that was not the case. He was trying to get away and was shot 4 times through the windshield and killed. And it's particularly heartbreaking to see someone who's been shot dragged out of a car and put in handcuffs while they bleed out on the ground. A sad, sad situation. Okay, let's see. I've got another one, which I don't know if it'll play or if you can even hear it, but we'll try it and see. Can you hear that? No. This is from Scrooge. I've talked to you before about the musical Scrooge with Albert Finney. They talk a lot about the milk of human kindness. This is the ghost of Christmas past, is the big guy there talking to Scrooge, saying, actually, well, I'll see if I can get to that. It's a pretty short sequence. He is giving him the milk of human kindness. And if you know the story of Scrooge, he takes him on a flight and they see Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim and they see what's going on in the world. And he keeps giving him drinks of the milk of human kindness, which Scrooge has never had before. It is a funny scene. It's a musical. That's another movie that I would advise or suggest that you see if you have a chance. For us, it is a Christmas tradition. Probably, I don't know, 20 years. We play it every Christmas when the kids come. That we have Christmas dinner, and then we play Scrooge, and then we open presents. And the present opening is getting shorter and shorter all the time. Here's your check. Okay, let's go to the milk of human kindness, mother's milk. The physical demonstration of mother's love. And even though you would like to believe in nature, that all mothers giving birth have that inner drive to care for their offspring, some mothers have to be taught to nurse. When I was a nurse at Upper Valley and also at Wayne Hospital, whenever there was people that called off or there was a shortage of nurses, they would ask for volunteers to serve in that place. So I worked in rehab, I ended up in cancer care, I was in telemetry, emergency room, surgical, medical surgical. I also went down to maternity on occasion. I used to joke with them that that's what I would teach the mothers is how to latch on. They never really gave me that job. My job was for the postpartum mothers. They needed pain pills, the babies needed attention. That's what I did for a shift or two until the regular nurses came back. Let's be generous. Latching on is something that some mothers need to be taught, but sometimes babies need to be taught how to nurse. When a baby and mom are guided in posture, you have to hold the baby in the right way. The preparations and difficulties in breastfeeding, like there is breast tenderness, and mothers have to be taught new mothers have to be taught how to deal with that. Poor positioning, sometimes just being nervous about being a new mother and breastfeeding. And breastfeeding, as you know, is highly encouraged. It's been slacking off here lately, but it is highly encouraged for the health of the baby and for the connection, the emotional connection the mother and baby make during breastfeeding. Some mothers are unable to nurse their newborns because they don't produce enough milk. This was devastating to Tara, whose motherhood dreams were essential to her self-image. Our son Trent lost weight the first week of his birth for his weekly checkup, which is really unusual and it's pretty scary. When the doctor saw that, I could see panic in his eyes. He didn't say anything, but he immediately had the nurses go out and get a bottle. Tara was nursing. She had milk, but she didn't have enough to help him gain weight. So, and that the reason this was so devastating to her is she is the original Becky Homecki. She baked bread, our bread, from scratch for the first 10 years. We even milled our own flour that we grew from our own wheat. She sewed the clothes for me and the kids, including the foster kids. We tapped our maple trees and made our own maple syrup. She milked our first cow by hand. She made cottage cheese. And on top of all that, she studied to become an ordained minister. But having to bottle feed our kids was one of the greatest disappointments of her life. But that did not stop her from excelling at being a pretty fantastic mother and pastor. Which started me thinking about the people that I work with. Is there some factor that contributes or prohibits a normal life? Why do some mothers not only lack breast milk, but even the motivation to nurture? They may bottle feed, but they can't seem to provide that environment of security and nurturing. They say all the mother things, but their actions tell a different story. They say they want to buy their kids things that they need, but the things that they buy are things that they, as the mother, wants or needs. They say they want to take their kids to activities, but it's the activities that the mothers want to do. They leave their kids unattended or with questionable supervision for activities that the mother wants to go to. They say they need to buy food for the kids, but it is foods they want to eat. It is all selfish attention. It is called narcissism, and I am seeing that now that we have an example on the national level. I'm starting to put the puzzle pieces together. The kids are used as an excuse. They need a car for the kids. They don't take the kids anywhere. They drive all over the place and for drugs or drinking or whatever. They need a refrigerator for the kids. They need air conditioning for the kids. They need meat for the kids' meals. I can attest you do not have to have meat from every meal. I took them spaghetti, meat sauce, spaghetti sauce, and Parmesan cheese and said, here's a meal for the whole family for 2 days. Well, where's the meat? Where's the hamburger? You don't have to have meat in spaghetti. I actually got you meat sauce, which has a meat flavor. There's not probably any meat in it. But this is people who have nothing and exist on with their handout taken from other people, have the highest expectations. That is something that I still cannot reconcile with the way I was brought up. So then I began to notice the presence or absence of kindness. Mothers who teach or model kindness seem to live in successful homes. Successful means you pay your own way. You provide the necessities. Primary among the necessities is a sense of security and safety, not just food and shelter, but the absence of crisis. And crisis is what I see. These mothers are barren of the milk of human kindness. They have a circle of friends, but they are more like acquaintances or people to be used. Because if your friend has something you want, you take it. This never ceases to amaze me. People they call friends, and then they call and complain. They took $20 that I had in my wallet. Didn't they say that you took $15 that they had in their wallet last week? Well, I needed that. I had to buy food for the kids. Did you ask them? We go around in a circle on this all the time, and there's always a reason it's somebody else's fault. A strange mix. You take something from one friend or a relative and give it to another, but they are all in the same toxic mix. A swirling, unstable existence of never knowing what the next day, the next hour, the next minute will bring. I suspect they may actually be addicted to the excitement of insecurity. They argue, they attack, they fight in an instant. They are endlessly aggrieved. The world is against them. Nothing is fair. They deserve everything they steal as a payback for something someone took from them. They work harder at not working than real work. They apply for assistance. They travel to food banks. They get free furniture. And then they have to ask someone to bring the furniture to their house. And then they have to ask someone to help them carry the furniture they already have out and put it on the curb because they don't want it for no reason. They can't hold a job for more than a few weeks because it is their right to take a day off for the kids whenever they want with no call, no show. You're familiar with no call, no show. Most people in most jobs, if you can't go to work, you call as soon as you can and let the supervisor know so they can find replacements. If you just don't show up, after an hour or two, they call your house or your phone, you don't answer, then you get fired for no call, no show. I got fired for no reason, just because I missed one day of work. It wasn't because you missed one day of work, it's because you took the day off without telling them that you were taking the day off. That common courtesy, that common kindness to other people is non-existent. You never show up, you never ask for a day off or call them to say they are sick, or any other standard lies that the normal people use. If you need a day off, when I was working as a nurse, my aunt died in Illinois. You can't get a day off for bereavement day unless it's an immediate relative. So I had to call in sick that day so I could go to the funeral, which is the last time I would see my family from Illinois, because she was the last living relative there. That was a lie. They knew it was a lie. I knew it was a lie, but it was what you still have to let them know ahead of time that you are coming to work. So they disappear for their important personal function, leaving the kids with one or another adult. They leave their kids with anybody who's handy. It might be one of their older children. It might be a neighbor. It might be a friend of theirs who they borrowed money from. That is the person who's watching their kids for the day. And then they can completely consider telling me all the time how important their kids are to them. I can't work this Saturday because I want to be with my kids. Yeah, sure you do. So, how essential is the example set by caregivers, and where does kindness fit into this mess? Many people view kindness as a weakness, caring for the ungrateful who only take advantage. They waste free food, they trash free furniture, they don't check the oil in loaner cars and blow the engine up, which has happened. It is quite the opposite. Kindness, showing kindness, is a sign of strength. It is moving from me to we, seeing the bigger picture and loaning someone your strength and your support. Supporting someone by doing whatever you can, wherever you are, whenever you are, is a sign of who you are, a kind human being. Kindness is doing the things that may go without acknowledgement and thanks. Authentic and intentional kindness does not expect anything in return. I have to put an addendum on that. We expect people to respond in kind. If you are kind to somebody, I expect them to be kind to other people. If I don't see that kindness, if they don't extend that courtesy to other people, then my kindness will find a leash, will find a limit to the point I will extend it. I am going to have to start evicting people because they're not paying their rent, they're not paying their utility bills, and when I offer them work, which I have plenty of work from cleaning to painting to landscaping, oh, I have to be with my kids this weekend, or I can't come out this morning because I'm going shopping. You can shop in the afternoon. I work in the morning when it's cool, and you can work in the morning when it's cool. If you can't do that least minimum amount of work, then you can't stay in that house for free. Kindness is a universal language that can bring people together regardless of age, race, ethnicity, religion, status, or identity. The good news is it's completely free. I don't think the saying, kindness makes the world go round, came about without any reason. Most of us have heard that doing good is good for you. It's better to give than receive. It may be a surprise to learn that research actually supports this. You get endorphins when you do things that make you feel good, and endorphins help you live a longer life and more relaxed life. People who grow up in a family without a nurturing person, specifically a mother, lack the milk of human kindness, and they are not able to provide it for their children or their partner. The reason these partnerships never last is because each partner is taking advantage of the other. It doesn't matter whether it's money, whether it's sex, whether it's companionship, whether it's someone to argue with, whether it's someone to share with. They take advantage and they never offer support to each other. They use each other. It is a pretty sad thing to watch. A dysfunctional family is one in which conflict, neglect, abuse, and unhealthy behaviors are chronic. creating a toxic environment that affects all members, especially the children. A dysfunctional family is characterized by ongoing conflict, misbehavior, neglect, abuse. Many of these couples, the husband beats the wife up and goes to jail, and then you find out in talking to the wife or girlfriend, whoever, they antagonize this guy by calling him stupid or brainless, or saying he was lazy or he didn't bring enough money home from the job that he did work. And they incite these people, if they have no control over their emotions, to the only response they have is physical. And many of these women initiate the physical. They slap or pinch or push and then complain and go to the police when they are abused. They do not deserve to be abused. Nobody should hit another person, either man, women, or women, men. But I can see how in these toxic households, this behavior spirals out of control until somebody ends up in jail. And then it is always a surprise to me when they get out of jail, they have another girlfriend, they still come back. They still come back and start a new relationship and start the same relationship over again and repeat the same functions. I do not have an answer for how to teach these people to reach the next level of existence. So, a dysfunctional family is characterized by, got that, common features include lack of empathy, denial of abusive behavior, tolerance of inappropriate treatment, and the marginalization of certain family members while overvaluing others. Relationships can be toxic, with love, support, and understanding being scarce, leaving members with trauma, low self-esteem, and difficulty forming healthy relationships. And I think the difficulty in forming healthy relationships comes from not having a nurturing mother at the very beginning. These children grow up in a family where all they see modeled is abuse and anger and crisis, and they never see kindness. They never see someone helping other people, and that is the behavior they adopt and they think is the normal way to be. They grow up seeing dad slap mom. They think that's the way you get what you need, is to slap the person you're opposing, the person who won't give you what you want. Parental abuse or neglect, sometimes linked to untreated mental illness or substance abuse, codependency with parents when one is abusive, and I see that all the time. The abusive one does the abuse, and then the one who is abused denies it and continues in the relationship. There are women's shelters where women can take their kids and leave at any time. They continue to stay in these relationships. Everybody wonders why. It's the Stockholm syndrome. When you're raised like that, when that's what you think life is like, when you think there's no other expectation, then you stay in a relationship that you think is normal, particularly when all your friends are alcoholics or drug users and they all abuse their wives or boyfriends, or the women abuse the men. It is a toxic relationship, and I have not found the key to get out. The reason I brought Macbeth into this is Macbeth, if you remember, Lady Macbeth is talking to her husband. Her statement is, "I fear thy nature, it is too full of the milk of human kindness." Her husband is talking about his relatives, and he is talking about forgiveness and being kind to them. And Lady Macbeth knows that what is necessary is the death of these people. And she is afraid her husband is too weak because he is too full of the milk of human kindness. If you remember the play of Macbeth, nobody comes out of that play looking very good. And the husband gives in to the bad side of his nature and his wife's suggestions. So, Lady Macbeth articulates a profound and chilling insight about her husband's character. The quote nestled within Lady Macbeth's soliloquy encapsulates the tension between ambition and morality, laying bare the complexities of human nature and the psychological turmoil that drives the narrative forward. Macbeth is a perfect example. Shakespeare is a perfect example of how to do that. All right, I think we're done on time-wise. There's some more stuff here, but we may get into that at some other time. Comments or questions? The milk of human kindness, something that is so necessary, so hard to teach, and so hard to learn. I'm beginning to think if we have licenses for hairdressers, licenses for barbers, licenses to drive a car, licenses for everything, we should have licenses to have a child. it would make a big difference if only the families who were approved. They don't have to be husband and wife. They can be single parents. They can be gay parents. They can be any denomination, any ethnicity. But there is a certain level of kindness and ability that you have to meet to be a parent of a child. All right. Offering. No numbers tallies nature. Tallies is a word people aren't familiar with much anymore. It used to be in the old days everybody knew tallies because when you took your cattle, pigs, lambs, chickens to livestock market, there was, when they unloaded off the truck, there was a tally. That is the count of the number of heads that came through, and that's what you got paid for. So, no numbers tallies nature. Okay, closing hymn is 166, The Years Are Coming. And our last sign, each dysfunctional family is dysfunctional in their own way. There is no chart that you can follow. are coming, speed them onward. When the sword shall gather rust, the helmet, lance, and falchion sleep at last in silent dust. Earth has heard too long of battle, heard the trumpet's voice too long. But another age advances, seers foretold in ancient song. Always love the lyrics of these old songs. Falchion, if you're familiar with that, is the long pole with the big blade with a hook on the end. The land troops used to use it when the knights rode by. They would reach out with that lance and the big hook, and they would pull the knight off his horse. And of course, once a knight is on the ground with 100 pounds of armor, he's kind of a sitting duck, so to speak. So it was a response to the weaponry of the Middle Ages, falchion. Okay, let's see. Extinguishing the Chalice, Let Us Bless and Keep One Another by John C. Morgan. Let us bless and keep one another. Let kindness rule our hearts and compassion in our lives. Until we meet again, amen. And our final photograph, Milk of Human Kindness. Actually, I did not know this. You can milk horses. They have a milking machine to milk a mare. And you notice the colt has a nose bag on to keep him from nursing. I'm not sure if they wanted to share that milk with someone else. Some people actually drink mare's milk. If you go to Uyghur or the Mongolian people, that's what they have as horses, and they actually milk horses and use mare's milk. I'm not sure what the situation was here. It was just a funny picture to see. All right, that is our service for today.
Postlude.
What's that?
Postlude.
Oh, postlude. Yes, postlude is good old summertime. Summertime. We will leave our final candle lit, as is our habit, for those who need help and do not have it, for those who need help and do not realize it, and for those who need help and are refusing it. So join us for the annual meeting. We may have a way to call in. I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet, but we will figure something out if you're interested. And if you need a report, we will be able to provide a report afterwards if you're not able to attend. Have a good Sunday and stay cool.
Hi, good to see you. It's been a long time. Glad to see you.